What's up, Previews World? It's Wednesday. It's New Comic Book Day, which means it's time for Previews World Weekly. I'm one of your hosts, Troy Jeffrey Allen.
I'm your other host, Ashton Greenwood, aka the Duchess of Free Comic Book Day.
Well,
Should I just dive right into it? Because look, guys, I got a lot of Free Comic Book Day things to say
you do.
today.
You got a lot of Free Comic Book Day hot goss.
I do.
Actually, okay, before we jump into Free Comic Book Day, I just want to point out today's the last day for the Hakes auction, kids.
Oh,
So,
true.
and this is for real this time. I kind of gave you a false alert last week, but this week it really is the last day. Yesterday was the last day for political memorabilia, but we know what you're here for. You're here for them toys. I know you
The
guys
Star
are.
Wars toys.
And look, you're here for the Star Wars toys, the Secret Wars toys, the old school Marvel toys, right? Look, Boba Fett is clearly what's hot in the streets these days, right?
Yeah.
And Hakes has some classic Star Wars figures, including Boba. So if you are an obsessive completist like myself, you better get in on it, guys. Go to Hakes.com and check it out because there's definitely stuff there. And Baldo's like, yes, toys. I'm
Yes,
with you on
agree.
that. All right. Enough of Hakes real quick. Ashton, what is
Uh-huh.
going on Free Comic Day? Because you got some announcements for us.
We do.
Hmm.
So today we announced our commemorative artist. This is the person every year we pick, fan favorite artists to design an exclusive piece for us for Free Comic Book Day.
Yes,
We
it
commission
does.
them to design this piece, and then we make it available as T-shirts, posters. It'll be on our button this year. It'll be temporary tattoos, all of that stuff. So this year, Tyler Kirkham is filling that role for us, and he's put together just this beautiful piece of these two siblings like running
Yeah.
from this robot man, and he's so cool. I'm obsessed with this robot guy. And so in creating this piece, Tyler said he wanted to emphasize the imagination, the creativity, and the friendship that comes from exploring the pages of a comic book. And I think that perfectly captures it. So
Yes,
if
it does.
you're as
Yeah.
excited about this piece of art as I am, and you want to wear it on your body, we're making it available in t-shirts in either white or navy. I personally like the navy. I should have given Riley some pictures of the shirt to share, but I didn't. So if you want to see what it looks like on the shirts, you want to hear more about kind of Tyler's creative process and how he dreamed up this artwork, we have an article up on the Free Comic Book Day website where he told us, about how he came up with this idea. And also, if you feel like you recognize his name, we also give you a rundown of some of his other work where you might have seen his stuff before.
Yeah. No, he's worked with Dynamite, Aspen, Valiant, Xenoscopes. He's familiar to the comic book game. So shout out to him. Also, another shout out to him because I'm not here to slight the previous commemorative artists that we've had in the past, right? They've done great work and it's been very impressive, and I can do it, right? But Kirkham bought the badass, and I think that's really neat. I'm glad
Yeah.
that he did. I'm glad he made it. Normally the Free Comic Book Day shirts and artwork, commemorative artwork is cute.
Yes.
It's very
Yeah.
cute. It's very romanticized. He came in swinging with like something that's just cool, and I really appreciate
Yeah.
that. So shout out to Tyler, 100%. All right, let's get into some comics. Ashton, you ready?
I'm ready.
All right. Also, shout out to Riley, who
Yes.
definitely who definitely pulled the trigger real quick, but that was okay. Thanks, Riley. I appreciate it.
We love
my my
Riley.
seg my segue was not important. It's okay. It wasn't impressive or clever, so it's all good. Um, I always make you go first, Ashton. So I'm gonna go first, real
Oh, thank
quick.
God.
And does it give you anxiety going first? Is that the problem here?
No, not at all. I just wanted to be irritating about it.
Oh, okay, that's fair. What else is new? No, I'm just kidding. So my pick this week is actually, well, I said Incredible Hulk, but no, it's actually Hulk, number 3 from
Oh,
Marvel Comics. And the reason I'm picking this one is because I just read number 1 last week,
okay.
and I know a lot of people were into the Immortal Hulk, but I just couldn't get into it. It just moved the character a little too far out of my comfort zone. But this is what I'm talking about. This entire premise is, what if
Mhm.
the Hulk isn't the danger? What if Bruce Banner is? And
Well,
that's an interesting premise that I think kind of bleeds into some old Peter David comics in the past as well. And I found that really
mhm,
fascinating. And I don't want to give away too much, but the way that issue number 1 unraveled this plot, this concept, was
mhm.
totally engrossing, total attention grabber. And of course, is Donny Cates and artist Ryan
Wow.
Stegman. Right.
Okay.
You guys know I'm a big fan of Case. I talked up King in Black. Being not a Venom fan, I thought it was actually really good. I did a whole video about Cosmic Ghost around and Thanos wins. I'm Team Cates. Marvel, keep him on for as long as humanly possible. Right. But this series kicked off really strong, and I'm locked in. I'm hooked. So if you're a Hulk fan, especially if you're a Peter David Hulk fan, there's not so far there hasn't been any callbacks that I've seen to the Hulk run, but it
Okay.
feels a little bit more in line with that run than the Al Ewing Immortal Hulk run, which again, people loved it. People were singing his praises for about 2 or 3 years. I just couldn't get into it. I don't know what it was. But this is my Hulk. This is the Hulk that I like. It's just different enough. And it just kind of messes around with the continuity just enough and does things different just enough that it's like an easy sell. So definitely check that out. Hulk, number 3 out this week, but do yourself a favor, pick up Hulk number 1. Apparently, it's been selling so well in these last couple weeks that Marvel's already doing a second printing of 1 and 2. So definitely keep an eye out for that. Yeah, absolutely. Ashton, what is your pick this week?
Okay, my pick this week is Junk Wraith from IDW, and I have to first point out that the only reason this got my attention was because it had the word wraith in it, and it made me think of ring wraiths from Lord of the Rings, which I love. I do love a good ring wraith. But so when I read the synopsis of this, I totally love the idea behind this, and I'm super excited about it. So basically, what this book does is it asks the question: what happens when your most precious belongings don't belong anymore? And so they answer it in this really cool kind of swanky sci-fi take. So it's told from the perspective of ice skating prodigy Florence Sato. And one night, Florence kind of decides that the pressure of her ice skating career and all the expectations are too much for her. She throws away her ice skates and gives up ice skating. But in doing that, getting rid of the ice skates, it summons a junk wraith, which is this terrifying ghost that seeks revenge for having been abandoned, and is latching onto Florence's memories of ice skating, and just like sucking these memories out of her. So it becomes her job to track down the monster, the junk wraith, and kind of put it to rest before she completely forgets who she is. And so the art is kind of the same style of Adventure Time or Over the Garden Wall, or if you're a Steven Universe person, this will probably work for you. And it is the debut graphic novel from Swedish creator Eleanor Richie, but it was on Webtoons and Tapas. So if you've seen it there, then you can get the whole story here. And I love this question because this kind of, when I was younger, Toy Story totally got in my head. And I was like, all of my belongings, like they love me. And if I get rid of them, they're going to hate me and we're not friends anymore. But I think this is an interesting take on like kind of that same Toy Story thing, but it does it in more mature way. And like, how do your possessions define you? Do they define you? Can you move past them? So I'm excited about this.
Okay, yeah, and actually, I think that it's very much a shared experience of, your toys having their own identities and, having feelings about how you treat them and whatnot. That was actually the brilliance of Toy Story, and that's probably the brilliance of this concept as well. I'm actually for that. That's actually pretty interesting. Like, I'll take a look at it. I think that's kind of cool. That's IDW, Junk Wraith. Okay, I'm with it. All right, we're just burning through everything right now, but I guess we were a little late today, so I guess it kind of makes sense. How about time for some news, Ashton? You ready to put people onto some stuff that's going on in the world?
Are we doing a What's at Comic Shops video, or are we just skipping that this week?
You know what? Yes, we are doing a What's at Comic Shops
Okay.
video. Thank you very much, Ashton. Yes, here's Anna Mia with What's at Comic Shops, and then we'll get to news. How about that?
Hey Previews World, Mia here with a look at What's at Comic Shops for the week of January 19th, 2022. So let's jump on in. And we're just getting started. The world of comics has even more to offer. So, stop at a shop already and you might just find your new favorite thing. See ya!
I'm just trying to make Riley's job difficult. That's all it is.
Just for the fun of it.
I'm just trying to keep him on his toes, see where he goes with things. Typically we have production manager Johnny Rose handling the show, but Riley, shout out to you. He's on the wheels of steel this week. So thanks, Riley. We appreciate you. Even when I mess up, you're right there to help us out. All right. News this time. Also want to shout out your dancing during the What's It Comic Shop.
That
video.
background music is so swanky.
You guys couldn't see it, but I'm sitting there just laughing because Ashton is just all into it. Anyway, let's get into some news. Ashton, you ready?
I'm ready.
All right.
News.
All right, cool. What's going on in the world of geekdom, Ashton?
All right, there is a new Amazing Spider-Man situation among us. Zeb Wells and John Romita Jr. are teaming up to launch a new volume of Amazing Spider-Man this year. 2022 marks the 60th anniversary of Spider-Man, and Marvel plans to celebrate it with an all-new volume of Amazing Spider-Man. And if you guys don't know, Zeb Wells and John Romita Jr. are kind of Spider-Man royalty in a way. Zeb Wells had his Shed storyline, and he set up the groundwork for Civil War, and Romita Jr. is, in some respects, the definitive Spider-Man artist. Troy's words, not mine. And so arriving in April, they will be teaming together to put together a run. I've totally lost my spot in my notes. I was like, just keep talking until you figure out what you're trying to say.
Right.
Arriving in comic shops in April, they'll be teaming up on a run that will have all of the classic elements of Spider-Man and Peter Parker that fans have come to know, love, and expect. It'll be new takes on your favorite Superman foes. It'll be answers to some of your most burning questions, including what did Spider-Man do? What did he do? And so give you a little background on what's happening here. Peter Parker is on the outs with the Fantastic Four. He's on the outs with the Avengers, even on the outs with Aunt May. And after a terrible and mysterious incident, no one wants to see Spider-Man around except for Doc Ock, who is hot on his tail. And the Master Planner has something truly terrible planned for when he gets his tentacles on Spidey. And on top of that, Tombstone makes a move that will remind readers why he's one of Spider-Man's most terrifying villains. So there's a lot set up to take place in here. Spider-Man editor Nick Lau said in a statement that Spider-Man doesn't turn 60 every year, and we're going big with this run, cramming in the biggest WTF moment Spider-Man has ever had. So it'll be hitting shops again in April, and you'll definitely want to get your hands on it. Pre-order your copy, use Poolbox, guarantee your copy, all that jazz. Troy, what do you think? I know you're a Marvel guy.
I am a Marvel guy. Like, look, I'm a comic book guy, but I have to admit that my heart belongs to Marvel, right? And this is a team that you want on Spider-Man. Like, this really is. And my hope is that they don't lose Romita too soon. Like, I hope that Marvel has this tendency to kind of get a hot artist on it for a couple of issues and they go away. Romita's enough of a veteran that he can do, like, I don't know, 70 issues straight of Spider-Man and like not break a sweat. So yes, I think for the first time in a long time, I'm going to be reading the regular Amazing Spider-Man comic because it is. Yeah. Zeb Wells is one of those guys who he's got like a bit of a cult following. Like he's not like a superstar writer necessarily, but everything he's written has been solid. And so he's built up a nice supportive fan base. And like, I feel like this is him getting the brass ring in a lot of ways. So it's kind of overdue. He's done some Spider-Man stuff here and there in the past, but for him to just take over Amazing altogether. Yeah, that's a big freaking deal. So yes, I'm all in. Long story short.
Not surprised.
Not surprised. All right. Also in news, Boom Studios announced this week Magic: The Hidden Planeswalker, which is a brand new 4-issue comic book series from screenwriter, oh my God, Scott, and artist Fabiana Mascalo. I don't know why I do that. Every time I see Margaret Scott's name, first thing I hear is, oh my God, Scott. So, it's just, I don't know. It's my own weird headcanon. I don't know.
I love that.
Magic fans, let me know if this means anything to you because I am lost. I'm not a big Magic person. The series is about the deadly Liliana Vests and Hidden Planeswalker, she discovers who will change the fate of the entire multiverse. So naturally, this is a spinoff of the Magic series that really took off last year from Boom Studios. People loved that series. I heard a lot of great things about it. And so it picks up from there. And so while our heroes may have defeated in the previous series one of the many dangers throughout the multiverse, the powerful necromancer Liliana Vess is left to return to her new home as a professor at the greatest college of magic in the multiverse. But she doesn't return alone. Sensing the presence of a distant planeswalker calling for help, one with the power to save or destroy entire planes, puts her on a collision course with the diabolical machinations of Tezzeret, the master of metal. Again, Magic fans, if I butchered these names, I'm so sorry. I'm out of the loop. I don't know these things all by heart.
It sounds cool.
It definitely sounds cool. We got a quote here from Kathleen Wesneski, who's the editor of the book. Liliana is everything you could want an ageless necromancer to be. Tragic, powerful, yet wounded, and drop-dead gorgeous. She's seen more of the multiverse than almost any other Magic character, so she's an excellent guide for a story that starts with familiar faces and planes and ends on the other side of new discoveries. And so she goes on to talk about Margaret and Fabiana and Ed, who's the inker. They're the perfect team to send Liliana on this journey that will surprise and satisfy the Death Mage's longtime fans, and no doubt make a bunch of new ones. So yes, if you are indeed a big Magic the Gathering fan, and if you're also a fan of the previous series, Magic, you probably want to check this out because this looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. And that is dropping April, which means it'll be in next month's previous catalog for you to pre-order. So keep an eye out for it. What else is going on in the world of comics? Todd McFarlane's doing things again.
Ooh, Todd McFarlane. When does this man sleep?
I know, right?
My God.
You know, like, how's it?
Go ahead.
No, sorry. I was going to say, how's it knowing that Todd McFarlane's gone to the office more times than we have in a year?
Right. It's so weird.
We'll get to that in a second.
Also, like, he's the president of Image and he writes comics. Like who does he have more time in a day than I do? How does he do it?
How's it possible? The guy, I mean, you've met the guy. He's a ball of energy, so it's not surprising.
He's so much energy. I was worried he was going to fall off the stage at the retailer summit when he was talking about Spawn. I was like, my guy, you're getting real close to the edge.
But I'm sorry. What's going on with McFarlane and Scorched?
So he has set yet another record added to his checklist. As you may recall, Todd McFarlane's Spawn franchise made history last year in 2021 with the best year of Spawn ever, broke a ton of long-held comic industry records, and he's just broken a new one with his massive sales numbers for the Scorched #1. So sales for the Scorched #1 make it the biggest new team book in the past 30 years, and that includes Marvel's X-Men and Guardians of the Galaxy. It passed both of those. It sold more than 270,000 copies, which is insane. And this makes it his fourth major record set amongst all of his Spawn titles in 2021. So just to recap everything else he's accomplished, because it was really a crazy year for him. Spawn Universe #1 became Image's top-selling first issue of the 21st century. The sales of King Spawn #1 completely just blew away the Avengers record, and it became the comic industry's highest ordered monthly superhero launch of the 21st century. Gunslinger Spawn #1 was the biggest launch of a new superhero monthly title in the past 25 years. And finally, the Scorched #1 passed all of his previous titles, King Spawn, Gunslinger, and Spawn Universe, to become Image's top-selling comic book in the 21st century.
Yeah, he's been on the roll, man. He really is. And we're going to get into that, a little bit more of that a little bit later, because we got a video for you guys in which we'll explain the comment I made about McFarlane being in our office more than we have been.
Yeah.
This other one, you know what? Bill Gates just said, all your bases belong to me, Sony. Like, that's what's going on this week. This isn't comic news necessarily, although it might have some impact on your comics, but it's a huge nerd. It's huge nerd news. Microsoft is paying nearly $70 billion for Activision Blizzard, the maker of Candy Crush, which, okay, sure, whatever. Also Call of Duty, Call of Duty and Overwatch, among other things. To boost its competitiveness in mobile gaming and virtual reality technology. The all cash $68.7 billion deal will turn Microsoft, maker of the Xbox gaming system, which is why I'm wearing green today, into one of the world's largest video game companies. It'll also help it compete with tech rivals such as Meta, formerly Facebook, in creating immersive virtual worlds for both work and play. Wall Street saw the acquisition as a big win for Activision Blizzard, and its shares soared 25% in trading Tuesday, making up for losses over the past 6 months since California's discrimination lawsuit was filed. So Activision and Blizzard have been in a lot of trouble lately.
Yes.
And so this kind of turned some of their fortune around a little bit. Shares of Microsoft slipped about 2%, which I thought was kind of interesting as well. Last year, Microsoft spent $7.5 billion to acquire ZeniMax Media, the parent company of video game publisher Bethesda Softworks, which is behind popular video games The Elder Scrolls, Doom, and Fallout. Microsoft's properties also include the hit game Minecraft, after it bought Swedish game studio Mahjong for $2.5 billion in 2014. Now, will this impact some of the licenses, right, that we see on the comics side, right? Particularly in comics, you have Overwatch and Call of Duty at Dark Horse, as well as I think they also do some World of Warcraft stuff at Dark Horse.
Yeah.
Good Smile has the World of Warcraft Good Smile license. Will it affect these things? I don't know. I'll be perfectly honest with you. And look, I don't trust Bill Gates as far as I can throw him, but I am still Team Xbox. So
my first and most immediate concern about this acquisition is, does that make Call of Duty now an Xbox exclusive game? Like,
that is most certainly going to happen.
That's so petty.
It's very petty.
So petty.
But you know what? Here's the thing. It's payback a little bit, right? Because I think it was the previous generation. Well, I think it was the previous generation or maybe the generation before that. Sony locked in a bunch of exclusives. Like I think Square was one of them, who makes Final Fantasy, and a couple others. And there was a lot of Japanese companies, because Sony's a Japanese company. So they locked in a lot of exclusives, and they kind of completely stonewalled Microsoft and Xbox. And so, yes, you're absolutely right about this. This is very petty. And it's going to get more petty as time goes on. And maybe it won't be good for like the ecosystem necessarily, but Microsoft's been trying to build an internal ecosystem for the last couple of years. They've been very successful at it. Not to get too much in the weeds here, because I can talk too much about this if need be. And so I think this is a step towards that. They're trying to make sure that they lock people in to Xbox and they stay on Xbox. And you know what? I can't hate it. I just bought an Xbox Series X this past weekend. That was like my Christmas gift to myself, a belated Christmas gift. DJ Young says it'll bolster Game Pass for sure. That is most certainly. Game Pass is like their digital. This is basically their Netflix, basically. Monkey Jeep is saying Microsoft likes to buy dead franchises. I don't think that's true. Call of Duty was not dying. Activision may have been in a lot of trouble, but they are not dead. That's for sure. So yeah, definitely keep it coming in the comments about the McFarlane announcement, Microsoft and Activision. Let us know what you guys think. But I'm going to switch gears back to McFarlane real quick, because he came to the office this past week, like I mentioned earlier, and in the process, he signed 838 copies of The Scorched, which Ashton mentioned was like a record-breaking #1 issue for Image Comics and for McFarlane. So what we have here is a video of McFarlane explaining, just what The Scorched is exactly, but also signing his 1 in 250 incentive variant. So definitely check this out. Here it goes.
Hey everybody, Todd McFarlane here in Baltimore. We're going to finish up the year of the year of Spawn, by doing 838, the smallest run of the variant covers. Here's box number 1. We went and picked it up from a new printer, and just so you guys know, we're doing a more heavy-duty cover that's going to be way better than what we did on King Spawn and what we did on Gunslinger. So each one of these is going to come individually packaged, right? The other ones didn't. They were thinner cover and they didn't have any package. And so we'll just open the package up. I'll show you how good the cover looks. And we're going to do 838 of those today. And here's the very first ones. Look at them. You can tell it's thick because it doesn't fold when I hold it straight out. Nice and thick. The corners are nice and sharp. And so you're not going to get nearly the amount of dings and chinks in that you got it. we're doing the signing for the Scorch 1 in 250 variant cover. The vast majority of them, all but 10, are being done in red. So you can see everything on this table pretty much is in red, and I've done it all in red. But we're going to be doing 10 of them that are going to be in green. You can see the number is going to be green. Up in here, the signature is going to be green. Up in here, so you'll get one. Although I usually do it at the end of the run, so the people get a higher number, get sort of something maybe a little bit different. But I thought the eyes could have come out a little bit greener. I'm going to come in here and I'm going to also color the eyes just a little bit sassier green.
All right, someone's correcting me here. They said 838 variants. Rest in peace, local comics. No, I'm sorry. 838 signed copies for retailers for those that ordered the 250 variant. We got here. I see Monkey Jeep is saying, I see Epic buying Sony and Microsoft. I don't think that's even a reality. That doesn't even make sense. Sorry, Monkey Jeebus.
Who's going to come up with the money to purchase Microsoft?
Both of them. Yeah, I don't think that's a real thing. Sorry, bud. Hate to break it to you. So the record McFarlane broke, like as Ashton mentioned, was 270,000 copies sold, which is the most set by a single comic book franchise within that time frame, which was about 6 months. So congratulations to him. Yeah, very cool. I love how he explains, the two markers that he was using. I thought that was very amusing. I also thought it was interesting. He's using a cotton glove so he doesn't smudge the signature on each one too. So it is really serious business. Like this is when you order these things and when you place these orders, it's being taken seriously. It's not a joke. So definitely, if your local comic shop was fortunate enough to receive one of these variants, one of these exclusive covers, definitely check it out and ask them and find out. I had a few people on Twitter asking me, where do I get this? Where do I get this? It's up to your local comic shop. If they did the 1 in 250, then they have a copy coming to them. So definitely just doesn't hurt to ask. All right, let's see here. What do we got next? Did you see the Moon Knight trailer, Ashton?
I did. It premiered during the football game, Monday Night Football.
Okay. Okay. All right. Any thoughts on that? I mean, I know that, I know you're not the biggest superhero person. I'm actually not the biggest Moon Knight person either, to be honest. But what did you think of that? I know you love some Oscar Isaacs, though.
Oh, God, I love Oscar Isaac. Oh, my God. I'm just going to sit on this show and embarrass myself all the time. I love Oscar Isaac. I will watch this just because he's in it. So the way I see it is there's two kinds of trailers. There's a trailer that tells you pretty much everything you need to know about a show or a movie, almost to the extent that you don't even need to watch the thing in its entirety, right? And Netflix is guilty of that frequently. And then there's trailers that leave you really confused, and that's kind of how I walked away from this one. I was like, I don't understand the plot. I don't understand what this is going to be about. This doesn't tell me anything about who Moon Knight is or what he's going to do. So I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I know people were ripping Oscar Isaac for the English accent was a bust.
Interesting.
I didn't get that. I didn't have that experience. So I guess my experience with this trailer altogether was I don't know what this is about, but I will watch it because Oscar Isaac is in it.
I mean, no, that's fair. I mean, it's one of those weird things where I am not the best gauge of people's bad accents from other countries, right? I can always tell when someone is not from America doing an American accent.
Sure.
Actually, not always. I will say this: a lot of British actors are really good at faking an American accent.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I had a moment when I was watching this where I was like, wait, is Oscar Isaac English? Did I just miss that? Did I just not remember that for some reason? So he totally fooled me, but I'm also not the best gauge. I think the trailer looked cool and it looked really unique.
Yeah.
It almost seems inappropriate for a Disney Plus show.
I like that though.
I like that too.
It's not as lighthearted.
Yeah, but that makes me wonder how they're going to pull this off because it is going to be on Disney Plus, of course. It looks cool, and I'm curious how they'll handle the fractured psyche of Moon Knight. So the thing with Moon Knight is that he has multiple personalities. Like that is kind of the thing that's like defines this character. And so you kind of end up with a situation where you don't quite know which personality is going to show up first and like when it's going to show up. So that's part of the suspense of that character, you know? And so, yeah, I'm curious how they're going to handle that. Like, I think that, you didn't see Spider-Man No Way Home, did you? If you got to think, that's the most recent one. If you have to think about it,
I can't keep all the titles straight in my head.
Oh, okay.
I haven't seen the most recent one yet, but I've seen the other two.
Okay, all right. Well, I'm just saying, like, I'll just say this: I was impressed with how they handle mental health in that particular movie.
Ooh,
and so I'm curious how they will handle that in Moon Knight, because that could easily be mishandled if not dealt with delicately. So yeah, very curious. And I just hope it ends strong, because I don't know, the last couple of Marvel TV shows on Disney Plus, maybe with the exception of Falcon and Winter Soldier, didn't have a strong ending. I kind of felt like they just kind of fizzled towards the end. So yeah, that's dropping on Disney Plus. Let us know what you guys think. Actually got some comments here. Well, first of all, someone's commenting on the reading gloves that McFarlane was wearing.
Is that a thing?
Monkey Jeep is back saying, depends on the phases of the moon determine who he is. This is also true. Yeah.
Oh, that's so cool.
It is cool.
Why was that not in the trailer? What?
Well, you don't want to give away all the details.
I felt like there needed to be more details. There were not enough details in the trailer. I was just watching Oscar Isaac run around and do a bunch of stuff, and I'm okay with that. I am.
I was going to say, weren't you totally content with that?
Yeah, I was.
No, I mean, I think that I think it definitely is more of a teaser, even though they had already released a teaser. But I mean, it grabbed my attention. Like, it made me more curious about it than I had in the past. So I had been in the past. So I'm all in. I'm very anxious to find out where they're going to go with this. All right, it is Social Swamp time. Lord Almighty. It's okay, Riley. It's all right.
Working out the kinks here. So we invited you guys to yell your opinions, because we like to do that from time to time. We've sunk our teeth into a social trend, I'll say, and we asked you guys to give us a hot take. Tell us if you think one thing is better than another using just those two things and the little greater than sign from math class, and make it controversial, make it saucy, make it the hottest hot take you can summon. So let's see what you guys had to say. Bill says Clone Saga's greater than the Spider-Verse.
Yeah, I mean, I guess. I don't know.
I love the Clone Saga.
Well, he's talking about the Spider-Man Clone Saga specifically.
I thought he was talking about Star Wars.
I know.
Damn.
I knew that's what you thought he was talking about. No, he's talking about the Spider-Man Clone Saga.
Dave, who I think is watching us right now. Hi, Dave.
Yeah,
he says Star Wars action figures are greater than Star Trek action figures. How nerdy is that? Well, you're in the right company, Dave.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't feel like that's really a hard sell.
Not a particularly hot take? Question mark.
No, not particularly hot take. Gotta admit.
Rajesh says Daredevil is greater than Batman in the comics, at least for anyone that needs extra clarity.
Ooh, that's a tough one. I mean, I love both of those characters, but I am on a Daredevil kick right now, so I'm totally feeling this.
Kenneth says Ghostbusters Afterlife is greater than Spider-Man No Way Home. That feels like a hot take that is not financially supported.
Right. You're absolutely right about that.
Brian says Gwenpool is greater than everyone. She can manipulate reality. She's basically a god. Her only limitations are from our world, i.e. Marvel or the writers, who wouldn't possibly let her do anything too drastic, like kill Spider-Man.
I'm not up on my Gwenpool. I guess I gotta delve more into this character, because apparently Gwenpool's where it's at.
Brandon says the Eternals are greater than the Avengers comics and the movie.
Yeah, that's just a troll. I'm not entertaining that at all. I just watched the Eternals, by the way. Finally watched it last week. Yeah, it's not a bad movie, but it just drags. Like it's just a slog to get through.
Yikes.
What else we got?
Andy says The Rock is greater than John Cena.
I mean, yeah, of course.
I have a follow-up question. I would like to know if this is like what is the category here? Is this like wrestling, acting, generally speaking? I just would like to know.
Okay, all right. Yeah, I don't know. That's a good one.
John says Superman is greater than Batman. Yep, I will die on this hill. And I have to point out, there were a lot of people that commented with their Superman hot takes in both directions. But a lot of people in the comments like Superman is the greatest of all time. You can't change my mind.
I mean, he's the first. You got any more there, Riley? Okay, Archie.
Oh, I'm hip with this. Dave says Archie Comics is greater than literally all superhero comics. Co-sign. Wagner says Saga is greater than any other comic.
Oh, wow. That's a lot of comics.
That's a lot of comics. That's a hell of a take.
I mean, we asked for hot takes, controversial ones. I mean,
the hottest take you can summon.
There you go. So, I had a greater than, and I thought of it yesterday, and I said, make sure you write this down, Troy, because you're going to forget. And then I forgot what it was. So I hate to see it. It's just like, damn it, I'm lost here. Ashton, do you have a greater than? Can you come up with something that's like just absolutely like mind-meltingly controversial?
Oh, I mean, I'm sure I could. I have a lot of Star Wars opinions that upset people frequently. I frequently make people mad. Okay. I don't know. See, like what I used to think was like a hot Star Wars take is apparently not that hot anymore. Like we're all just starting to come into agreement. But I was gonna say that Padme is greater than Rey. I dislike Rey. I think she's useless. That's my hot take.
Yeah, whatever. No, I think that's totally fair. I don't think that's but it is weird though, right? Like about 3 years ago, people would have like been like hunting you down in the streets for saying that. But now people have just been like, okay. What a difference Rise of Skywalker made. Like seriously, like once that movie came out, it's just like everybody's like, okay, forget it.
We're done with this.
White flag. Nobody cares anymore.
I tried really hard. I wanted to come up with a hot take that was like somebody besides just me would care, because I was thinking about it for a really long time. I was coming up with like obscure like Avatar things or like Stardew Valley things, like all of these like obscure things. I'm like, no one even knows what this is besides me and like 5 other people on the internet.
No, I mean, look, we talked last week about whether Korra was better than Avatar and vice versa, right? No. And that is I like, he's just like, nope, it's not. Forget it. So,
it's not.
I mean, but apparently that's a conversation.
Like, that's my hot take. Avatar, that's my hot take. There it is. Avatar Aang, greater than all of the other avatars. All of them. I will fight you. Okay. Better than Kyoshi, better than Roku, better than Korra. That's my hot take.
All right. Look, I have a wife upstairs who would definitely agree with you, so it's all
oh, no.
You totally would agree with you on this one. Actually, we got a couple here in the comments. Padme Skywalker is greater than Rey Palpatine, so he's totally co-signing. 100%. I didn't realize we're calling her Rey Palpatine. That's actually kind of hilarious.
Oh, are we? Okay.
Walking Dead comic is greater than Walking Dead TV. Oh, interesting.
I agree with that. I actually I want to weigh in on this. I agree with that only because a lot of things that happen in the comic book you can't do on TV, at least not on AMC or cable TV. And a lot of the things that make the governor and Negan so vile and so villainous, you can't. Like, you just can't put rape scenes on cable TV. Like, you can't do some of that stuff. So I think they lose some of their power in the series as a result of that. And I thought Negan didn't get executed that great in the series, although Jeffrey Dean Morgan was a fantastic cast. So yes, I could say that.
Interesting. I just thought of one right now that I'm going to go ahead and say it's not the most well thought out one, but at the same time, and I'm going to add a caveat, I don't like either one, to be honest. But if I had to choose, you know what? I'd say the Whedon cut of Justice League is better than the Snyder cut of Justice League.
Oh my God!
Gotta go there. You know what? I'm gonna lean in because, well, it's for one very simple reason. The Snyder cut is 4 hours.
Why?
Like,
is it 4 hours?
why is it 4 hours? Like, I mean, that is like the absolute basic reason for why I'm just look. Ray Fisher is definitely better in the Snyder cut. Like, I got already Ryan.
Immediate.
Like, Ray Fisher is definitely better in the Snyder cut, but it is such a joyless, self-indulgent, like, just unnecessarily long movie. I don't understand it. Like, I just don't understand why. Look, I understand it's on cable, so they can do that. I mean, it was on cable. Jesus, I sound like an old person. It was on HBO Max, so I understand why it's 4 hours long, right? You can do that. You can binge watch it if you want to.
Sure.
But at the same time, it's just the little music video breaks and just you know what I mean? And just the ending wasn't any better than the Whedon cut. It was like they were both very bland. You know what I mean? So that would be my take, is just that, yeah, the Snyder cut, not that great. The Whedon cut, not that great. But if I had to watch one again, I'd at least would watch the Whedon one just because it's less than 2 hours.
The best bad idea we've got.
You know, I mean, there you go. Look, I guess the war.
Okay, all right.
And
I'll
give
the
Monkey Juice.
Snyder cut.
I mean, no, look, I get it. Like, I don't think either one of them are
Fair
good.
enough.
And if I had to choose between the two of them, I would watch Infinity War and Endgame. Like, I got to be
Yeah,
real with you guys.
facts.
Like, yeah, like, you know, I don't think any
Like,
one of them is good. I think they're both messes in a lot of very specific ways.
oh my God. I know for a fact, like, I can say with absolute certainty, I saw the Justice League. I saw Joss Whedon's Justice League. I went to see it in theaters. I sat in the theaters. I paid good money to watch this movie. I cannot recollect a single plot point from it.
No. I mean, it's also a mess. Like, I will also follow up with that. It is definitely a mess. But if given the choice and I had to watch one of them again, and I actually did that. I actually watched like the first 2.5 hours of the Snyder cut, and I was like, wait a minute, how different is this from the Joss Whedon version? And which is also unfair to say. It's not really his version. It's like the studio version. But but yeah, then I watched it, and I ended up watching the whole thing. And then I was like, oh God,
hours?
the Whedon cut. I ended up watching it in between watching the Snyder cut, and then I realized afterwards, like, oh God, I got to watch another 2 hours of the Snyder cut. All right, let's just get this over with.
Oh,
so,
geez.
and I was Team Snyder going into it, so that's my take. My only other take would be that Xbox is greater than PlayStation. There you go.
I've not played either recently. There's an Xbox in this house. It's an Xbox 360, so it's not really, a recent console.
Okay.
I would pick PlayStation purely on nostalgia. And I think I've said this before. We had a PlayStation 2 growing up, and my brother and I used to break it all the time. So we had like 5 PlayStation 2s growing up.
Was he like rage quitting and broke it, or like what was going on here?
So I don't know if you remember when the PlayStation 2 first came out. After you had it for a while, it used to do this weird thing where it wouldn't read the disc. So you'd have to like put the PlayStation 2 up like on its side or flip it over and put the disc in and let the tray close. And you had to do all of that weird stuff. And it eventually got to a point where it just wasn't even worth it anymore. My dad was like, this is stupid. We're getting a new one.
Actually, you know what? Speaking of which, real quick, really quick, and to make sure I'm not wired. I just moved. Old school.
Oh my God, are you serious? Oh,
I'm flanked by Zack Snyder's Watchmen, which is a better movie than either versions of Justice League. So there you go. Anyway, all right. Thanks, guys, for hanging out with us. Thanks for giving us your greater than hot takes. I appreciate it. And we still see some more rolling in here. PC gaming better than console gaming. You know what? I'm gonna take that and I'm gonna put that to the test for sure. Because I can actually play Xbox games on my PC now. Monkey G was pointing out it's the lens that got dusty, which is also true. He's absolutely right about that. Okay. What is this? Jerome, look, I evoke the rage of the Snyder fans. Zack Snyder is at his best when he films panel to panel from graphic novels, 300 and Watchmen. And I think those are some of his stronger movies. So there you go. All right.
Should we talk about our thumbnail? How Moon Knight is greater than Weird Al, apparently.
Yeah, actually, let's get Johnny in here real quick because Johnny's been lurking in the background. Like, yeah, there's the thumbnail. Hold on, let me take Jorge Jimenez off, Jerome Jimenez off. But yeah, so Johnny, what's up?
Hi there.
Hey.
It feels weird
So-
to like not be trying to like switch back and forth between you two, but Riley, you're doing a good job.
You're doing a good job.
Riley's
Riley. You're
killing
doing
it.
a good job. Johnny, what is up with this Weird Al movie? First of all, because that's two things were announced this week. It was like there was a Weird Al movie, and then it was the Moon Knight trailer, right? Those are
Right.
two big things that happened this week, outside of like all the other stuff. And
Well,
you know, hence
I'm going to give
hence-
my
hence
hot
the
take.
thumbnail. So give us
I'm
your
going to
hot
give my
take.
hot take. I'm more
Alright.
excited about the Weird Al movie than I am about the Moon Knight.
That's a hot take. That is
Yeah.
spicy. That's a spicy
Especially here.
meatball.
Especially here.
I've been a Weird Al fan since I was a little kid. Like I have fond memories of whenever my parents would drive to Florida, and I don't know why we drove instead of flying, but listening to Weird Al in 3D, like nonstop, the cassette tape all the way down there, and just like laughing my butt off. So I've always been a Weird Al fan. So to see this story that Daniel Radcliffe is going to play Weird Al Yankovic in a biopic, the Al Yankovic story, I'm just like, I need this in my life. Can you just give it to me now? I don't care if filming is still going. Like I want to see the dailies. I want to see the footage as it's coming in. I need to
But
see
here,
it.
but the other part of it is who's directing it.
I have no idea.
Is it Weird Al himself?
I thought it was Weird Al himself. Wasn't it the deal?
Oh,
Oh, I don't know. I hadn't read the story.
Okay.
Written by Yankovic
Written
and
by him.
Eric
Okay, there you go.
Apple, who will also direct. Okay.
Oh, okay. All right. Gotcha. Yeah.
I'm
No,
not
I
familiar-
just.
I'm not familiar with Eric's work, but I'm excited. Right, let's go back to the full screen.
What is
nice.
that?
This
Nice.
is something that I picked up at my local comic shop. Shout out to Third Eye Comics in Annapolis, Maryland, by the way. Saw this on their social media, and it just posted black and white and weird all over. It is the lost photographs of Weird Al Yankovic from 83 to 86.
Is this like a coffee table book?
Yeah, pretty
Yeah.
much. And I thought it was
Yeah.
going to be like some kind of like expose type thing, but it's all mostly like black and white photos. But it's still really neat to like see like some of these photos of Weird Al like back in the day. That this guy that I just like grew up loving. And I also have my Weird Al Yankovic Funko Pop.
Oh my god.
Which is amazing because like if Riley, if you can bring this up, because like one thing that we found out is that there's stuff there's Carter.
An intruder.
Hold on. What is it, buddy?
It's got a ninja.
Okay, have fun outside.
That ninja just snuck up
ninja.
on you. Yeah, ninja sneak up on you.
So Riley, if you can go to the Previews website. We found this for like an action figure of Weird Al from his White and Nerdy like video, and I'm like, I didn't even know this existed, which proves to you that there really is something on Previews World for everything that you can find at your local comic shop.
You really can. Like
This was
not an
available
exaggeration.
in shops October 2017. So I don't know if this is still in stock, but I may have to go onto the site and see if this is still
Oh
available.
my gosh.
That's
because
crazy.
And the thing is, it's like, a lot
It
of
was
people-
released by NECA. I just realized it was
Oh my
it's a
God.
NECA.
Oh.
It's a NECA action figure. Oh wow! And it looks like that's real cloth on him too. By the way,
I think so.
I
Like,
bet you
NECA-
it is. If it's NECA, it's got to be real cloth.
Yeah.
People are commenting, Monkey Juice saying Dylan Minnette should have been cast as Weird. I don't know who that is. I'm sorry.
Oh, the guy from
yeah.
13 Reasons.
Last Weird Al concert I saw was all polka. Well, then that would have been amazing. If you want to know the history of music, you just listen to Weird Al's polka like montage songs, whatever. It just goes through like the history of the music. The thing is, it's like I was most shocked about the fact that like Daniel Radcliffe is going to be playing Weird Al.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's nuts.
That's so weird.
But at the same time, and I'm actually going to share this screen because if anyone is familiar with this show, Miracle Workers on TBS that Daniel Radcliffe is in, this is absolutely funny, like hilarious. So I think just after seeing some of his stuff in this show proves to me that I think he can actually pull the Weird Al portraying him off. He has that funny side. It's not like where I don't think it's the same as like what we're seeing with Robert Pattinson being cast as Batman and having the stigma of Harry Potter and Twilight and all that. There's a little bit of that, but at least in my mind, I know that Daniel Radcliffe has done other stuff and is a little bit more of a diverse actor, at least I think, than other people might believe. So I 100% think that he's going to be able to pull this off, and I can't wait to see it.
No, there was that movie he played a dead body for the entire film. And there was another movie I saw was like, yeah, and there was another movie I watched called Guns Akimbo where he literally has guns nailed into his hands. And like it's kind of like this weird battle royale situation that he's in. So, at this point I don't deny Daniel Radcliffe. Like I'm just sort of like he's not just Harry Potter anymore. He's a lot of things as far as I'm concerned. But Ashton, you took issue with some of this. Why are you hating? What's going on here?
Okay, so first of all, Weird Al gives me big Tommy Wiseau vibes, like giant Tommy Wiseau vibes. I would not trust Tommy Wiseau to make his own biopic. That is a mess waiting to happen, a disjointed mess. So I have the same misgivings about this Weird Al biopic. Secondly, I think Bohemian Rhapsody started a thing that we don't necessarily need, which is biopics of musicians all of the time. I just don't think we need to make biopics and I also don't know how successful a biopic of yourself is, or should you be making biopics about yourself? I know Elton John did it and Rocket Man was really good, but I don't know. I feel like that's incredibly self-indulgent.
Did Elton John make Rocket Man? I know Danny Boyle directed it, I thought.
He was involved in it.
He produced it.
Sure.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure they came to him with in terms of just getting into some of the history of it.
Mm-hmm.
But Taron Egerton, I think, did an amazing job. Honestly, seeing Rocket Man, I have much more appreciation of all of Elton John's music. Every time I hear an Elton John song, I want to go and watch Rocket Man. More so, and same with Queen and Bohemian Rhapsody. It gives you a deeper appreciation of those musicians and what they went through in the creative process and stuff like that. I want to see what happened with Weird Al, because all I know is his public facing persona. So I'm really interested in seeing what it was like, the creative process, and what his kind of backstory is.
There you go. Well, we got some comments here. Best Weird Al movie appearance is in The Naked Gun. As he is in Naked Gun, actually.
I disagree. I go with UHF.
Well, actually, I'm sorry. My bad. Yeah. There you go. Nakia Henderson, who's actually a friend of mine. Weird Al was in UHF, and that movie slaps. Only Weird Al can do Weird Al.
I mean, that's fair.
You get to drink from the fire hose. No. Early Michael Richards, early Kramer there too.
Yeah, right. Yeah, you're absolutely right about that. Yeah, I don't know, Ashton. This might be a generational thing here. I gotta pull that card.
I'm not hating on Weird Al. I think he's funny, and I think his songs are great. I just think it to be the antithesis of Johnny's feelings. We don't need this. Why?
Oh, we 100% need this.
We don't. Would you trust? Would you trust Tommy Wiseau to make a biopic of himself?
I don't know. I don't know who that is.
It's the Room. It was his cult hit from several years ago. Yeah.
Oh, hi, Mark. Yeah, no,
yeah.
Okay.
he's had a much less cultural significance than Weird Al Yankovic.
I think that's also fair. That is very
fair.
Is
fair, but what I'm saying is the vibes. It's the same weird guy vibes.
Actually, I think I was pointing out this to you yesterday. Howard Stern made a biopic about himself. I mean, he didn't direct it. I think Penny Marshall did, but he was behind it, and it was actually a really good movie. So maybe it can work. I don't know. We'll see.
I'll give it a chance. I'm here for it. I'll give it a chance. I am trepidatious.
I'm actually impressed with how many people jumped into the comments to defend Weird Al.
I know. The Snyder Defense Squad and the Weird Al Defense Squad. Everyone's out and on the internet today.
Right. Everyone.
I want the Zack Snyder cut of the Weird Al story.
Oh my God.
I will watch 10 hours of that.
Wow. That would be amazing, actually. I would love to see that.
The Zack Snyder cut, Weird Al, dark and brooding.
Right. Oh my God. The Randian version of freaking Weird Al. All right. Let's wrap this up because we're definitely running over time. Wait, hold on. Weird Al's deliberately that way, to Ashton's point. Tommy can't help it and just pretends to go along because he likes a frame. That's also fair.
That's true.
There's way more narcissism involved with Tommy Wiseau.
Yes.
Anyway, Ashton, what is this week's comic shop shout out so we can get out of here?
Okay. This week's comic shop shout out goes to Shadow Mountain Comics, and it comes from Steve St. John. So we'll show you some images inside of Shadow Mountain Comics during the credit roll. You can take a look inside their store. If you want us to shout out your local comic book shop on the show, find us on social media, tag your shop. If they don't have a handle, just leave their name and use the hashtag #SupportYourLCS. We'll find your shop, shout them out on the show, and give them some love.
All right, cool. I'm gonna give one more to Nakia. He said Weird Al is maybe the most non-problematic and sincere artist from the 80s. You know, and
That's probably true.
You just jinxed him because now something's going to happen.
Why would you say that?
Why would you say that, Nick? Why would you say that? Anyway, this is a reminder, guys. You know what? Every week we go on tangents. We go on non sequiturs. But we also do talk about comics.
We didn't get to the poll today, but if you're really interested in voting on a weird tangent, you can go over to the Free Comic Book Day Twitter, and I'm asking you who would win in a 3-legged race between the Thing and Pikachu or the Hulk and 3PO.
All right, real quick, Riley, make a choice and let's see where the vote is right now. Oh, you got to log in.
Oh no!
Oh no, I'm sorry.
Oh, seriously, you were going so well, Riley.
We're going so well.
I'm definitely gonna go with the Thing and Pikachu for sure.
Okay. Right. So we can't show you without doxing our login information.
Well, I can I can share this. I can share the screen. I can share the screen. I'll bring it up. Yeah.
Okay.
No, we need to know this. So what, Riley, what did you say?
I'm going with Thing and Pikachu.
Oh, in that case, I'm going with Hulk and C3.
Oh, damn.
No, I mean, I feel like Pikachu actually has some kind of power that could make him somewhat useful in this situation. Honestly, between the Thing and the Hulk, they're going to be dominating that race. They're just going to I just have a picture of the Hulk running and C3PO flopping around.
Flopping around, right? Exactly.
Just arms and pieces going everywhere.
I'm trying to figure out how you can tie the Thing's legs to Pikachu. I'm also kind of stuck on that.
He's got it just body. It would just be his leg attached.
That's right. Yeah, true.
Body, yeah.
Just get a long rope.
I get this also that. All right. What are we voting for here? Oh man, that's actually closer than I thought it would be.
That's really close.
Actually, you know what? I don't know what I thought it would be, but that's actually surprisingly close. All right. 92 votes in, guys. You got 3 days left. Go ahead and vote for Ash's totally random 3-legged race.
When you guys gave me carte blanche yesterday to go rogue with the poll, I was immediately like, that was a mistake. I'm gonna get
you were actually very excited for it, and I should have known something was up. I was like, where did she get this stuff from, guys? I don't know. Anyway, this reminder is to follow, subscribe, because yes, we're a bunch of weirdos and we talk about weird stuff for an hour every single week, Wednesdays at 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific. So come be weird with us, guys, because being normal is overrated. I want to let people know real quick, there's an interview right now on previewsworld.com of a book called Barbaric. It's Michael Morici and Nathan Gooden. And the artwork by Nathan Gooden is kind of stealing the show here. The interviews are Michael Morici, but the artwork is phenomenal. And someone pointed out that it has soft Adam Kubert vibes, which I didn't think about until someone said that, but that is totally valid. Also, there's an interview this week for Girls Heist Out, which is a comic book series coming out from oh God, why am I blanking on the name right now? Who puts this book out? Darby Pop. There you go. Sorry. Yeah. But the artist gives a look behind some of the artwork for that book. I do these series interviews called Get Graphic every single week, just about, give or take. And the artist gives us an insight into the creative process. And so you can kind of see the various stages in comic book making that happens for the artist. And I do want to remind you guys that tomorrow is the panel. And it's featuring Ashton, Lua Stardust, and of course host Anamia, and they're going to talk about apparently one of the greatest comic book of all time, according to Social Swamp earlier, Saga.
Right.
So of course Saga is making a comeback this month at your local comic shop. So just in time for that comeback, they're going to talk about the first arc from the Saga series, basically the story that made people fall in love with the series in general.
Right.
So definitely very curious to see what your takes are on this book. So definitely check that out if you're a Saga fan or if you've been curious about it and just don't know what to think of it just yet. And that's it for Previews World Weekly. I'm one of your hosts, Troy Jeffrey Allen.
I'm your other host, Ashton Greenwood.
And PlayStation sucks, and we will see you guys at the Spitter Rack.
I don't know about all that. Bye.
Don't forget that you can catch Previews World Weekly streaming live every Wednesday at 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific at Previews World on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch.